You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. I believe this is going to be episode 251. So we'll be right around Christmas time when this episode actually drops, I think a couple days before Christmas. So we've got Luke Costilow and his dad, Mark, on with us tonight, and they want to talk about some new stuff that they've got coming out and this exciting contest that they have, which will be over by the time this airs. But congratulations to the winner, whoever you are. I wish we had planned this a little bit better, but here we are. I would like to thank our sponsors of Real Geese, First Light, Ducklander Calls, and of course the voice of the union, Captain Jeff Coates from Pit Boss Waterfowl in Maryland. Can't thank you enough for all your support. And let's get on with the show. Luke, thanks for reaching out and asking about coming on the show again, because it makes life super easy for me when I have people asking me to come on the show instead of me cold calling people. So thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. Mark, I know you said you've listened to a couple episodes, so the fact that you're willing to come on with Luke gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling, saying, well, at least we didn't scare him off, and we must have entertained him a little bit for him to come back on.
So both episodes from start to finish, and it was entertaining.
Or he just doesn't know any better.
I don't do all that stuff, but it was fun. Somehow I came across the one Luke was on, and then I watched whatever was next, and I don't remember about it, but it was entertaining.
Well, that's good, buddy. I appreciate it.
Straight
and that's
down the
funny.
rabbit hole.
Well, no, it's good, and I tell you why it's good is because we recorded an episode last night, and one of the things I was talking last night.
No, 2 nights ago. We were gonna do last night as well, but we didn't.
Oh, okay, sorry. So 2 nights ago.
Okay, I'm your life administrator.
Yeah, you are. And one of the things I was talking about was, and I had never really ever put this out there as I never ever spoke the words, but I had said, the show is meant to entertain people. And I don't think any of us, when we started this show, ever thought about entertaining anybody. It was just a bunch of us idiots sitting around and talking. And now entertaining people is what we're trying to do. Whoa, there he is.
Oh,
I made
Mr.
it. Terry did all the snow removal.
Oh, you got an echo, I think, buddy.
Son of a bitch.
Does anybody have an echo?
No, you sound good.
Okay, all right. So, anyways,
I don't hear anything.
Okay. Okay, so good. Chaos. This is the way the show goes. And now that Craig showed up, we've got a really good view of Mark and Luke.
Yeah. Widescreen.
Yeah, it's even wider. So now you guys, you don't have to sit on one another's lap in order to be seen on the on the screen. So that's
don't
good.
Have to, but
yeah, you can if you want. Anyways, this is chaos. This is off the rails already. But Luke, thanks for coming on, buddy. And let's get right into it. Because I know one of the reasons you reached out about wanting to come on was to talk about your new carving kits, and I'm interested in this as well. So I'm gonna hand it over to you and you and your dad, and let's learn about these new carving kits you got.
Yeah, thanks. So, as some of you might know, and some of you don't, my dad and I have been carving for a long time.
Dad got me into it when I was a little kid. I've been carving decoys since I was 10. And we've always sold decoys and done competitions and stuff. But recently this year, we kind of started our own decoy supply company. So we're importing in, we're selling decoy cork. We have decoy carving kits now. We have our own like texture combs for doing fun types of paint, and we're making our own glass eyes. And the biggest thing we just rolled out with are these carving kits. And I got some here with me. But essentially what you get like a body cutout, which is high density cork.
Yeah.
We have 4 species. We have bluebills, mallards, cans, and redheads. And you get a kind of a roughed out sugar pine.
And these heads are getting better. We're learning how to produce them better. And the newest ones are really nice. That's one of the first. Show them.
Yeah. And then
the new mallard.
And then here's the eyes that I'm making now. You get nice glass eyes, different colors depending on what species you order. But so this is the bluebill here.
I want one.
Just as an example of like what a finished one could look like.
Wow.
That's the one that I finished up. Now the kit doesn't come with the paint. You gotta get your own paint, but
right.
Essentially, that's how it started.
That's awesome.
And that's how it is.
And what's retail on one of those, Luke? Like what? So if someone, this will go out to Canadians and Americans. So we'll just multiply it by 30 if you give it in American dollars.
We're still working on the Canadian side of things.
Okay.
However,
she didn't listen to you. I'd have never known you were from Canada.
I'm from.
No, Damien's the farthest cry of Canadian. He's Newfoundlandese. It's a whole different breed of human.
Yeah, that's a whole different side of things. That is.
Yeah, but on the American side of things, they're on the website. They're $51.50 each.
Okay,
so $52.
Come with the pattern,
and you get a pattern too.
Okay, so $52 American. So that's like roughly what 700-800 Canadian.
Bucks? Yeah. It's about $70 Canadian, I would think.
Yeah, it's under $100. It's pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole like logistical Canadian side of shipping, we're still getting figured out.
But a USPS,
we're a humble small business. We're figuring this out as we go.
USPS, one of those like standard what's those like prepaid boxes?
Yeah.
One of those. Yeah.
That's the way I would do it, Luke. Like, and Phil and Craig can chime in on this. When you're using a courier, so USPS is simple. So when you go to post something with USPS, you will fill out this piece of paper declaring, I'm sending this decoy kit. This is what's in there. It's worth $55 US. And then you put it in a box and it sends, and then it'll come to me, and then I pay the duty on it.
If there is any.
If there is any duty. The problem with the couriers is that the couriers will charge me the duty, plus they'll charge me a brokerage fee for declaring it and clearing it through customs.
Yeah. So, and then they'll charge you a fee because they had to charge you a fee. It's called an inconvenience fee because they had to charge you a fee. So they'll fee on top of that fee.
Yeah.
So that $52 decoy is now $200 because UPS sticks it up your ass. I'm not angry about USPS or UPS.
Well, the trouble's really not on our end. We fill out paperwork. It's all on whoever gets it. Eh?
No, you just put it in the box and send it and go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing on your end. Like you guys do your end when you pack it in a box and you go to your post office and fill out the paperwork. Everything else. If there's any duty, they'll charge me on delivery. They'll say you owe this much money, and I'm like, okay. And they come with their debit machine, and I just swipe my card and off it goes. So
it hold your parcel ransom.
Yeah, like honestly, I think your best bet would be USPS.
Oh, okay.
That's my recommendation. Phil, yours too, Craig.
Oh, not that I've purchased anything from the United States before.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So sorry, we cut you off. So keep going on your
podcast is
decoy
great,
kit.
very educational.
Yeah,
This is good.
This was worth its money.
Why did he tell you that he had to pay to come on this show? Because if
Yeah,
he
he
did,
took it. I mean, I paid money to come here.
is he
That's why he
taking
let
money
me
at
he charged me to be on the thing. Yeah.
is he taking money out of the business account and, and telling you that he had to pay to come on here? Because
There's
if
another
so,
fee.
Luke, you and I need to have a chat. But yeah, no, go for it, buddy. Keep going on your on your
good.
decoy.
So, like I said, we have canvasbacks, mallards, and redheads and bluebills.
One of those is
What-
a mallard kit, ain't it?
What's nice about so we have two different types of mallards. So we have like a low-headed mallard,
Yeah.
and a high-headed mallard. Yeah. And what's nice about the mallards is they can also be painted as black ducks because black ducks and mallards are the exact same pattern.
Yeah.
Same goes for the
Low-head mallard.
yeah. So Dad's bringing over a finished mallard kit. There's
Oh,
a
that's
finished mallard
that
kit.
is nice.
Now,
Turned out
question for
nice.
you, Luke.
Yeah.
When it comes to the painting, have you guys developed like a paint scheme that you say like you can go to Home Depot and order this color, this color, this corner, this color, and like things line up, or like what do you do for paint?
We have not done that yet.
Okay.
I know some people that have. House paint is a great option for people getting into carving decoys and painting decoys, especially like working decoys. Going to Home Depot and just getting some sort of like we use all like water-based acrylic paint on our stuff. So you can go and get just like some sort of exterior flat, house paint and get color
Yep.
match. I've done it before. The color match stuff is really, really good. We haven't come out with any guides like that yet. It's
Right.
definitely something that I want to do. Again, we're kind of taking little bites off this as
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
go. We are working on a project now that's going to come out next year sometime where we're doing like a how-to book that's having like color schemes and things like that.
Nice.
And then you'd be able to take that and go to the store and match that color. But I use like a more higher quality acrylic paint when I paint. It's called like Golden So Flat and Deco Art Traditions. There's got a little bit more higher quality. But when it comes to people just making decoys, you can totally go and get one of them indoor-outdoor sample, little
Yeah.
deals from Home Depot and just do that.
You can take a decoy in there and they'll scan the color.
Yeah.
And just mix it for you.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
No,
'cause, like,
that's
Parker's has paint kits
They do.
for decoys.
Yeah, those are oil-based, I believe.
Now, like I didn't know like if you guys were looking at like say developing something, say like from like a reputable, big box store where like, yeah, okay, I just need to go get like this color, this color, this color, this color, and Bob's your uncle, and I definitely think that would be maybe something to look into, like just for the ease of amateur guys that have no idea what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
It's just something to throw out there.
Yeah, no, it'd be good because I would be able to literally give you like the Home Depot code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your cheat
that
sheet.
color.
Go
Yeah,
buy
you can
this.
that and I think and I don't think I'm going to insult anybody's intelligence here, but anybody, including and this includes me, if you're looking at purchasing one of these decoy kits and you're going to bring it home and you're like, you need to dumb it down as much as you possibly can, right? Because
Oh, yeah, we're dealing with
if
duck
you-
hunters.
because if you don't, I think you're just going to get bombarded with questions. Do you know what I mean? Well, what paint am I supposed to use? What
Oh, yeah.
brush am I supposed to use? It'll just be a constant. You'll spend more time on social media and your email answering questions than anything else. But I like my question is, when I'm looking at that body with the cork body,
Mhm.
what tools are you using? I know, like when I carved my first body, and it's not finished yet, and that was 2 years ago, I used a bandsaw for the most, like to get that rough shape of what you're holding in your left hand. I used the bandsaw to get that, and then it was down to like a draw knife and gouges and everything after that. Is that what you're like? Will you say, this is the tool list that you should have, or are you really not going to dictate to people, well, go buy a number 4 gouge and all this stuff?
Yeah. So what's really nice about cork is you can use just about any type of tool you want. Now
Okay.
I'm a power carver, so I use like hanging like
Oh,
Fordham tools, like
yeah,
rotary
I know the ones.
tools.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dad's holding one up there. So I use that. It makes a huge mess, but
Right.
I can carve really fast and it does really good. But what's nice about cork is you can get like a rasp. Just go buy like a rasp from the Home Depot or a draw knife.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to carve a decoy specifically to hunt over and specifically just to kill birds over, you round it like a football, put the head on it, sand it, paint it black, and you're killing birds, So it's like it can be as easy as just rounding it. But with the rasps and stuff, you can carve in all the shapes, details, and stuff you want. But cork is very versatile when it comes to carving. I hate saying it's great for beginners because it totally is, but it's really not just for beginners because I've been carving this for 20 some years now. And I love it. And there's so much you can do with it. Especially this high density stuff. I know when some people think about cork, they might think about the black cork, which is like bigger chunks, and especially some of the decoys,
more
like
coarse.
older decoys you had, Phil. They might be like the larger cork pieces and chunks. But this is like really high density, and you can do a lot with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, one of my fears, like, and I'll go grab that body and I'll show you where I'm at with it. But one of my biggest fears with using basswood was that, using a draw knife or anything is removing too much. But with cork, I would think cork is a little more forgiving. It's not as hard to carve or to pull material off, I would think. Is that right?
I would say yes and no. Like
Okay.
with cork, you don't have grain to worry about, right?
Right.
So potentially with basswood, you might be trying to whittle and catching grain and pulling out chunks. Cedar's really bad for that too. Obviously, with cork, you don't have grain. That being said, using a power tool, you can totally take out a huge chunk
Wouldn't
of
take a
cork
lot to-
super quick. Yeah, and then it's screwed. So once there's definitely a learning curve to the pressure and understanding how the speed of your Dremel versus pressure pull. But you can do a lot with it, but you can also screw it up really, really quick if you're not careful.
I think most new people probably have a harder time taking enough material off. They think they've gone too far, but it's not.
Well, 100%. That was always my problem. I was like, I think this is good. Hold on, I'll get my piece. You guys keep talking.
Yeah, I find with the classes that I teach, the biggest problem people have is they don't take enough away, and they're too afraid to take. They're afraid to take away too much, and then they don't take near as much.
Because they have that mindset that it's like it's easier to take a little more off. You can't put it back.
Sure. Yeah. And it's weird because it's a weird problem because by not taking enough away, you're not able to get it round enough. And you think that you haven't taken enough away because it's not round, because you think more material equals more round, but it's not. You have to like pinch and sink and be able to get more depth that way. But
bit of a science to it.
Oh yeah.
Well, if it was easy, everybody to be doing it, right?
100%.
So that's where I'm at, and that's 2 years, and that's probably where that one will stay.
Put it back up
like a little baked potato.
Yeah.
What kind of chicken's that?
So it's supposed to,
See, you're just not
teal
enough yet. You're still square.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was going to be a green wing teal. I started. This is where I lost all my nerve. Is when I started to cut those pockets in for the wings.
Just round more.
Yeah.
And then put a groove down the center of the back so you can round down into it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds easy.
Just bring
Right,
that. Bring it to Ohio when you come.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish.
So now my big question, Luke, when it comes to
Yep.
carving decoys, like obviously, like we just kind of just touched on it when it comes to like, you know, actual wood blocks versus cork. Because cork doesn't have grain and stuff. But when it comes to like carving, like whether it be a working block or a competition block, like is there, say, one species of wood that's more suitable over another when it comes to like, you know, competition stuff or hunting decoys, or how does all that work?
Kind of regional.
Yeah, Dad brings up a good point. It can be highly regional.
Yeah.
I would say when it comes to competition versus hunting, weight is really important. So a lot of people that I know use Tupelo,
Yep.
specifically swamp Tupelo. Like we have black Tupelo up here, but that's a different species than the swamp Tupelo that when we carve Tupelo is what it is. The swamp Tupelo is kind of down south. And that's what's nice about the swamp Tupelo is it has really, really wide grain and it's really, really light, like incredibly light, and carves really nice. So a lot of people use Tupelo because, especially when it comes to floating, because with both competition and hunting, you know, floating is like omni important when it comes to, you know, how good your bird is. You could have a beautifully painted bird, but if it floats like ass, it's not going to do any good in the competition or out in the field. So what's nice about Tupelo is it's so light that the body doesn't even know it's there, you know, half the time. Yeah,
It's expensive.
but it's an expensive wood. A good starter wood is basswood.
Yep.
That definitely has its drawbacks. It's heavier.
Mhm.
And if you're power carving it, it's very fuzzy. When you're grinding on it, it makes a little fuzz.
Yeah.
White cedar is good. A lot of people use white cedar, but red cedar is bad. Not a lot of people use red cedar, and that's kind of more for toxins, and it's not as waterproof.
Yeah, I would think that's
White-
probably because of the oil. Like the
What's that?
oil with the red cedar. I would think
I
it's
think
probably
so.
yeah.
I think for whatever reason, white cedar is a little more water resistant and lighter,
Yeah.
while red cedar is heavier
Mhm.
and has more toxins and stuff in it.
And
But
it's
a lot of
funny you
people
mention that because like there's
A lot of people, it depends on where they live, what wood they use. You know, you got pine, you've got Polonia. I think a lot of people use. There's a couple others. Cottonwood. You know, a lot of people people that make decoys, a lot of time they live by a pallet factory and they use a lot of their scrap wood, the little ends of cottonwood or basswood or
pine.
pine. So it's just whatever wood's available. If you're making a lot of decoys, you got to have a steady supply.
Yeah.
it's funny how you mentioned the red cedar because like I'm a big musky guy, and there's a lot of big musky bait guys that I follow and own a pile of baits from. And like they hand carve a lot of their like big musky crankbaits, and red cedar is like their go-to.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
like red cedar is like their big
Oh.
go-to, whereas like again, guess for you guys, it's like the no-go land.
But there's a difference between red cedar and western red cedar, right?
So yeah, so it's Western red.
It's a western cedar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Different than
western
what we
red
got.
is
Like,
western red is similar to a white cedar, right? Like it's lighter.
okay.
Okay.
I know
It's not a-
firewood. That's what I know.
It's
Like,
like
see if I can dig one out here.
our red cedar is just a big juniper. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. So like this big
an ugly
behemoth. This is
tree.
a big 12-inch musky bait, but it was like CNC carved. But that's
But
Western red
that's
cedar.
at a cedar.
Western red.
Oh wow.
That's what
Wow.
that big
That's
bad
cool.
boy's made out of.
There's a whole I've always found fish lures fascinating. So, you know, there's a whole circuit for decoy carving competitions,
Mhm.
but they have fish lure competitions too for like, you know, spearing decoys and things like that. And it's awesome when they judge the fish decoys. They have like a kiddie pool set up, and they have like the jigging sticks and like the
Yeah.
fish decoys on jigging sticks, and they judge how good the fish swim in a circle when they're using the jigging sticks, and it's just kind of cool seeing the functionality of of art being judged like that. It's kind of fun.
Okay, he's gone. Let's get off this musky topic because we'll be we'll get down this. We'll be down this for an hour. So let's not let Phil steal the show here. So Luke, so you talked about the species of duck decoys that you got, right?
Mhm.
So when you send, so if I remember, all of the species are all big ducks, right? There's not a small duck in there. There's not
no
a
teal or
buffy.
buffies.
Yeah, there's no
Correct,
teal,
not yet.
right? Right. Okay. So really, if you're looking at a black duck, a mallard, a can, and then there was another one you said, what was it?
Bluebill and redhead.
Bluebill and redhead, right? So all big ducks, all roughly around the same size. Well, bluebill a little bit smaller, but I'm just like, how long have the kits been available, and what has been the most popular so far?
Officially, the kits have been available for like 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Some test drives. We
Yeah.
sold 40 or 50 of them a couple different times just to see how they'd go.
Yeah.
But
Right.
officially, we just really started producing them.
Yeah. The mallards have been really popular.
Yeah.
Especially having the 2 different head positions. The mallards are popular.
Mhm.
The can's the newest one.
And the cans, the cans have been pretty popular too.
I could see the can being. I wouldn't need a can decoy because my luck of ever shooting a can is horrible. But I would love to have one. Like, I'd love to make a can just because
Something
of the
for the
head
shelf, anyways, right?
Yeah, like
Oh,
just because of the head of a can. I think the head of the can is the best looking duck that there is, right? Yeah,
And the body too. It's pretty distinct.
yeah,
Yeah, and like they're a big bird.
and they are a big bird.
Like I've shot a few cans, and like they're a big ass duck.
Oh, look at me, I'm Phil. I've shot canvasbacks.
Yeah, I'm also a published author.
So let's talk about the cork, because you guys got 2 things on the go, right? So you've got you've got 2 things on the go, but you've brought it into one, really. So you have your decoy company, and then you have the cork company, right? So the Coffee Creek Cork. And did I hear you say that you import your cork from Portugal?
Mhm.
Wow. So
yeah, we deal with the people right from Portugal, and we have conference calls just like this. This is when I learned to use this kind of stuff, talking
right.
to people from Portugal, and we talk about different sizes. We're trying to get more efficient with the sizes that we can get, the thicknesses.
Of course. Yeah.
Make it in big blocks and slices. So we're trying to figure out what people want the most, what thickness. Seemed like 4 inches and 4.5 inches is pretty popular.
Okay.
But we'll figure out how to cut them to that sizes so we're not getting any waste. But they
So
ship
when-
it over on one of those great big ships across. It ends up in New Jersey. Pops, they take the container, put it on a train, and it comes with a day cab truck right to our barn.
Wow.
Out at the marsh where we have our big barn.
Yeah.
And a complete big huge container of it.
So is that coming in like 4x8 sheets, or like
3
How-
foot by 2 foot.
3 foot by 2 foot, and then there's 3 different thicknesses: 3.6 inches thick, 4 inches thick, and 4.6 inches thick. And
wow.
I know none of those sound like they should be enough, but they really are. Like this canvas back's only a 4-inch body,
Oh, really?
4-inch
Okay.
thick. So
wow.
you can do a lot with 4 inches.
They take all the scraps when they make wine bottles.
touching that
All
one.
this cork is the scraps off those wine bottle corks things. And then they
Right.
grind it up and mix it up and heat it and compress it. And they make it in those size blocks. That's why it comes that size.
Okay. Okay.
So it's kind of a byproduct for them, but something that we can use.
Well,
Isn't
well-
Portugal like the leading cork producer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they are. I think they are the leading cork producer.
Them and Spain and one of them other. I think Portugal is the biggest, and where we get it, they're the biggest family that
Really?
grows these cork.
They're like the
trees and
cork
produces them.
conglomerate.
So then, So I don't know a ton about the decoy carving circuit. I just know of a couple events. I know there's one that usually happens in March, and I think that's in Ohio, right? That's a big one.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
That's a big one,
Canada
right? Because
has
I know Jeff Crete, who's a guy here, and we all know Jeff and his brothers and nephews and the whole bit. And I know Jeff does, like, he goes to that one, and I know there's some competition carvers up in our area. But I guess what I'm getting at is that when you're bringing in the number of, or the amount of cork that you're bringing, is it really just competition carvers that's buying the cork, or is it like, even like, is it guys like me that know nothing about carving? Are they buying the sheets as well?
I have been thoroughly surprised by the diversity of the clientele we've had.
Oh, wow.
So, so I've been in the competition space for 20 plus years. I feel like I know everybody.
Yeah.
And once the orders started rolling in, I was like, I don't know any of these people.
Really?
I'm like, this is kind of fun. And
Yeah.
like, I get phone calls from people who are like, hey, I've been watching your page for a while. I've always loved watching your stuff. I love to carve. What should I do? I'd love to buy a sheet of cork. I'm like, well, buy a sheet of cork, do this
Yep.
and do this, and then they start carving. We've had a couple clients who are not decoy related, which have been kind of fun side effects of doing this.
Okay.
So like we sold an entire pallet of 4-inch cork to
don't let the college, it might be a secret. They're in a contest.
Yeah, so to a college doing
an engineering concrete canoe contest.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And they were for the mold or something. I don't know, but they bought an entire pallet.
Yeah, for
concrete
canoe. Yeah.
And some other engineering firm making a landscape 3D thing.
We shipped a sheet to Los Angeles, and the guy's doing some sort of topography project, and he's using out a CNC and making topography things out of it.
That's cool.
So it's been cool. There's definitely competition clients, but there's also a lot of people just making gun and decoys either for the first time or just making them just to kill birds over.
Wow.
No, that was one thing I was going to ask. Just with the kits that you've put out so far, you said you've got what, 30, 40 out there. Is it mostly just experienced people that have taken them so far, or is it a range of people?
The kits I find to be mostly beginners. It's people that have never carved before and really want to, or people buying them for people who have never carved and they think that they would want to. We've had some people with a little bit of experience buying them, but it's been a lot of people who have never done it before and they wanted to give it a shot.
Cool.
Which I find incredible. I find that so cool.
Have you gotten any visual feedback on how they've made out?
Yeah, I've gotten pictures and videos back from people who have finished them and have actually killed birds over them.
Oh, really?
And that's been super cool to see.
That's
like
cool.
I get a rush out of carving my own stuff and killing birds over my own decoys.
Yeah.
But like I had a friend, this isn't a kit story, this is just someone buying sheets of cork off of me. But like I just had a client out in Colorado. He bought a couple sheets of cork, carved a couple swan decoys, then went to Utah and killed his tundra swan over his swan decoys. And it's just so cool seeing. Cool. Yeah,
that's
it's just so cool seeing pictures from clients sharing the success they're having over them. That's really cool.
Because that's like, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to buy a kit. If you're a waterfowler, if you're just a bird person and you want to have it and put it on your shelf, that's cool too. But if you're a hunter, like, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to carve your own decoys, set them, and then shoot birds over them. Like, that's the ultimate goal. That's got to be super rewarding for you guys to know that, especially for beginners, that you're sending out these kits and someone is, painstakingly going through the effort to build to build their decoy, their gunning rig, and then shoot birds over it. Dude, that's got to be amazing.
No,
It
and
is.
for those who want to
It-
know, it's $73 Canadian for the kit.
That's not bad.
There you go.
Thank
Because I'm like looking at this stuff right now. Because like I'm like fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Thanks for paying attention.
Because now,
Yeah.
now I want to buy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
so like
it's
go,
yeah, go for it.
going off of that, Damien. So I was talking to a private group last week who they're setting up a private class out at Coffee Creek during the summer.
Yep.
And you know they make their own marshes, they train their own dogs. You know, the one guy like makes his own calls, and they were talking about how this carving decoy thing, you know, they do everything else, and like the carving their own decoys is like that final step. You know,
Right.
in like their waterfowling journey, like they've done so much, and then like the decoys is like the final step of like having it
Wow.
all come together. And it's true. I mean, I have found myself on that journey as well. You know, it's like while I have carved for 20 plus years, I've truly have only focused on hunting over my own stuff for the past 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay.
And you know, because I was so competition focused up till that point. You know,
Right.
my thing is I wanted to win. I wanted the blue ribbon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that I've done that, I'm to the point now where instead of winning the competitions, you know, I want to fool that bird or fool that specific bird.
Yeah.
You know, so like I did like my swan thing too, and I did all the tree ducks in Florida over my own decoys and brant and you know a whole bunch of stuff. And it's so satisfying. It's just incredible.
What do you guys run for like a keel on your decoys?
I try and use like white oak.
Heavy
Okay.
wood.
Yeah, so we'll do like white oak, and usually drill like with a Forstner bit from the top and add a little bit of lead in the keel, because like one of the functionality things of it is you want to set them in the water upside down
Or throw them.
and then
Yeah,
they
right
flip
themselves.
over.
Yeah.
You always want to self right, because when you're throwing them, you
Yep.
know, in a marsh scenario, you want them ideally to flip over. And in a competition, kind of one of those silly arbitrary things in a working decoy competition, they'll set the decoy upside down in a tank, and if it doesn't self right, then it's disqualified.
Yeah.
Right.
Now in
Like
your
the self
kits,
righting, it's an important thing.
in your kits, does it come with a keel or
No,
no? Okay.
no, not saying
And
it.
not everybody uses a keel. I mean, some marsh situations and all, you know, some people really don't use them. Some
Yeah.
people put little pads of lead on the bottom or some
Yeah.
kind of weights.
Yeah.
Not everybody
Well,
uses a
the-
keel.
Yeah, being very forward and honest, we don't use keels in our marsh. In our
Yeah,
marsh
Right.
setting.
the
I know
sky's the
people that
limit as
hunt
to what you.
rivers, they don't use keels. What
Yeah.
I find with a cork decoy and no keel, if you have like flat water and like a half mile an hour wind, that thing's like skiing
Yeah.
on the
Oh, yeah,
water.
she just hunting.
They move so good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
I think
people
the
getting
whole
the kits aren't
keel-
necessarily making them for hunting either. Some
Yeah.
people just put
Yeah.
them on the shelf for the mantle.
What was that, Craig?
I was saying, like, some people, if they're ordering the kits, they're not necessarily making a working decoy. They could be for the shelf, for the mantle, or something like that. So
Sure.
putting a keel in is just going to be a waste of material too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not saying we won't have keels eventually. We're just kind of taking this step by step by step.
Here's a question for you, and this may upset some future plans of yours, or not. I don't know. But I remember the last time that you were on the show, you had talked about the decoy urns that you make for clients, for their dogs and stuff like that. And now, and I'm not looking forward to the day where I have to do this, but would it? So when you make the decoy urns, are you making those out of cork or are those out of wood?
They're cork.
They're cork?
Yeah.
So just using deductive reasoning here on my part, if I bought a kit from you, I could make my own decoy urn then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just thinking about it because I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of the applications where I could, because I want one of the, because I would love to have a half dozen decoys that I made, that I could take a couple times of the year where I knew I was going to be hunting over where I knew there was going to be some ducks working. I'd like to be able to take, 6 decoys and a couple times of the year and hunt over them. But then now I'm thinking it would be even cooler if I made my own urn for my dog when that time comes. And I'm just thinking about this now, and I'm just like, man, I want one of these kits so bad right now. Like I really do. And I'm not just saying it because you're on the show. Like I really want one because I'd love to be able to carve decoys, but I'm not like, I don't vision that block of cork or block of wood like how most people that are in the carving world, how they vision it. Right. For me, I just got to pound all those lessons into my head. So now, with you having it somewhat shaped out already, and the head, which is a very intimidating thing to try to do, I just think that it's super cool, and I'm just thinking of the applications where I can apply it. Really,
Yeah. Yeah. The people making their own urn is definitely a very doable thing.
that's cool. That is
Yeah.
so very cool.
And like
Yeah.
you said, with hunting over your own decoys, it's that added bit of attachment to it, right? It's going to mean a little bit more if you're making your own urn for your dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's something to be said. We were talking about the other day when we recorded a show how technology is, as hunters, we've benefited from the technology, right? Like there's so much that's making hunting easier, lighter, faster, all this stuff. But when you tell me about this group of gentlemen that have, they've made all their hunting holes, they've done everything on their own, and now the final step is to carve their own decoys to hunt over on their property that they've made and stuff. With all the technology and tools that are out there, to go back to the original of carving your own and hunting over it, it just seems special.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very special. It's
Yeah.
very special. Yeah.
Wow. Boys, I really don't like, I could just keep going on and on about how awesome I think it is. Right. And I'm just repeating myself, but it's just,
Well, I've gone down that rabbit hole with other facets. Like I've built my own fishing rods. I was into
oh, Jesus, here we go into fishing again.
I was into the fly tying thing. So again, like, kind of, going down the decoy thing, like, being able to catch fish on, like, the rod that you built or the fly that you tied.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I've got 5 dozen decoys that I've painted myself.
Right.
So being able to hunt over decoys that you've painted yourself and kill birds over, like that's been a cool experience. But it's just like, where do you draw the line? Like, obviously, like, the next step going into this would be like carving your own decoys. And believe me, that is something that's been in the back of my head for quite some time. Is, doing up, like, say 2 or 3 decoys. And
Mhm.
again, like anyone who knows, like, I love my small water duck hunting, where you can get away with 2 or 3 decoys to hunt over, and you can smash birds. But, like, being able to, like, yeah, I carved that, I shaped
Mhm.
that, I painted that, and then I've now shot birds over that. Like, it's, it's a whole different experience, and, it's obviously come full circle, and it's achieving more, in my opinion, to, the experience of, you know, being outdoors and hunting and stuff, and just, the bigger connection, so to speak.
When getting your hands
Yeah.
into it as
We
much
had
as
this grand
possible.
idea last year. We've got a small bulldozer and an excavator, and we made a little 1 acre impoundment out in the cornfield, and we planted millet, and we said the week before season we were going to make 9 decoys, and we were going to hunt in that little hole, and we were going to kill our ducks. And that little hole never really filled up completely with water. The ducks never found it, and we had these nice 9 decoys we made that we were wanting to hunt, and it actually took it till this year. The ducks found it this year, and we took our 9 decoys out there, and we shot our lemon and mallards over it.
Yeah.
And it's quite special when you do the whole thing like that.
Like,
And
by
another
no
thing
means am I
about
gonna make my own shotgun. That's for sure.
slingshot.
Yeah, there you go.
But the other really special thing about decoy carving is it can be bigger than yourself, and it's something that it's generational. And not only can you have those decoys for yourself to hunt over, but you're also able to like pass them down or
Mhm.
pass that skill
He
down.
keeps reminding me that, I'm going to be able to pass them down.
Yeah, but like using
Make another one. I'll get it someday.
yeah, that's great.
Hey, that's just that's just
but looking at it from my point of view, it's like I was very fortunate enough that not only has dad been able to pass things down to me, but he taught me how to do this, and
Right.
like my grandfather was a carver, and us being me being third generation, not only are we be able to pass stuff down, but it's like it's a thing where you can pass that skill down as
Yeah.
well, and now with me and my daughter, she's 9 months old now, but hopefully in a few years get her out in the shop and just being around
already
it.
holding a paintbrush.
Yeah. Just having her around it, and it's just it's decoy carving is just so special. I don't know.
well,
And it's cool when
you
you
know,
got something like that you can look forward to with the kids, right? Like when you have kids, it's all the stuff you enjoy. You already start planning ahead for that, and it's like, all right, how can I pass this down and get them involved? And you hope they do, and it just makes it that much more enjoyable when you see them start to get involved.
yeah, I'm again, this whole idea of going back to the original, especially and I get it, Mark, like when you talked about geographical, right? And that's the other beauty thing about this carving of ducks, is that it is so geographical, and then different parts, and it's mostly in the States. Like in Canada, we don't have that big decoy carving history, right? Like it's usually just the Great Lakes and stuff like that. But if you look at the Chesapeake area and the Ohio Lake Erie decoys, and then go down to the south, it's all 3 totally different styles of decoys. And then Phil, if you look at the wooden decoys that you have, right, from Dixie Decoy, like that was a different style of decoy altogether as well.
Yeah, it's
So
like
there's
the southern.
well,
South
that'd be like South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So there's such a rich history with decoy carving, and especially if you go back to the days of the market hunting and stuff like this. I just keep going back to how we as duck hunters are looking at decoys now, and I know the process that these decoy companies go through when they want to get a new line of decoys made, right? Like I know they go to a decoy carver and they commission him to do a bunch of poses, and him or her, and they do the poses and they send that to go get the molds and the whole bit. And us, the consumer, is looking at these decoys, and you're like, man, I really like the detail. I like the way the feathers look. I love the colors. I love all of this. I love all of the intricacies of these molded decoys now that you're buying. But then you look back to a gunning decoy,
Exactly.
and it's just raw. It is, the colors are the colors, but it's raw. It's a shape, it's a head, and it's an eye. and you're killing birds over it. And there's something to go that just it's super special to me to think about going back to that wood decoy or the cork decoy, you know what I mean, where you carved it yourself and you're hunting birds over it. It just, I've never done it, but it is something that I want to do.
And it can really be more about functionality and serviceability and decoyability. And when you're building those decoys to sell at the store, you're really targeting the hunter itself. You're
Right.
trying to feel something that they're going to pick up off the shelf and want to take home, not necessarily what's really going to decoy more ducks. I mean, some of the stuff that'll decoy more ducks probably wouldn't sell on the shelf very good.
No. And I've seen some of the ducks. Like, I haven't been to many carving competitions, but I've seen some. Like, the attention to detail that you competition carvers put, and when you make your, you know, your display and your background that decoy is going to sit in, like, the attention to detail is out of this world. And I think when it comes to a competition, it's the little finer details is what put you over the edge, right? But when it comes to gunning, man, just like you said, round it out like a football and you'll shoot birds over it.
It's funny you mentioned that, because like all the Dixie decoys. So I got 5 dozen Dixie decoys. Not a single one of those decoys have an eyeball. And there was like the longest battle. Oh, like, your decoys don't have eyes. You can't kill ducks with decoys that don't have eyes. Yep. Yeah, you can. And like, you look at what guys have used, like in the Stone Ages, guys cutting tires in half and putting them in a field and smashing geese. Guys taking pop bottles, spray painting them black, smashing ducks. Like, sometimes it's just about being doing something different, and it completely works.
Yeah. Dad and I have always joked about the difference between our competition birds and what we actually hunt over. You know, so Dad and I have both won multiple best of shows at the World Championships and national titles and, you know, all this stuff. But, you know, we were just on Lake Erie this morning hunting, and we hunt over the biggest, ugliest, monotone, blackest, darkest decoys, you know, that are an embarrassment to show your friends, you know. It's like, but it works the best.
Yeah.
We put a lot more care into our birds than the Lake Erie birds.
Yeah,
our
like,
big water birds aren't much to look at, but they're big and the ducks like them.
But yeah, like the decoys we hunt over in the more intimate situations of, like, you know, hunting in our private marsh and at Coffee Creek and stuff are a little nicer. But yeah, the Lake Erie ones are horrendous.
They're bad.
But man, it kills everything.
Putting out numbers.
You're just out there with the black bleach bottles.
I hunt over 30 decoys on Lake Erie, but they're this big.
Yeah, we pretty much have
goose body. Pretty much goose bodies with a real big mallard head on them.
Yeah, painted
really
black, kill everything.
But and that's an important lesson, you know, like, anybody that's listening to this show, once it airs, they'll be like, oh, it's cool, decoy carving, yeah, make them out of cork and all this stuff, and yeah, it's cool to shoot birds over your decoys and stuff like that. But the biggest lesson in all of this, and this is what I take from it all the time, because I have a couple of opinions on decoys, and we won't get into them here, but there's nothing wrong with just a simple decoy. Like, it does not have to be this beautiful, textured, flocked, all these things. It doesn't have to be that. You the end user, you're deciding that it has to be that. It's not the birds that's telling you that it has to be that. You feel better yourself as a hunter. You feel better knowing that you've got the most beautiful looking decoy that's ever been produced. That's only for your benefit. That does nothing for the ducks, in my opinion.
Funny, most decoys are sold for the hunter, not the birds.
Yeah.
I find beauty in the simplicity sometimes. You know, there's some of the super simple, just clean line birds that are just painted one color, just gorgeous sometimes.
Well, Luke, just hold up that can again. Like, it's not painted. You know, all it red eye and no paint on it, and that looks like it's a beautiful looking bird with not a bit of paint on it already.
We'll use
Other side.
the black duck as an example. There's
Yeah,
4 colors on that thing.
yeah.
But I'm really happy you brought that point up. That's one of the, when I teach my classes or give people advice on decoy carvings, the biggest thing I like to tell people. So, like I said before, I grew up in the competition setting.
Mhm.
When carving for competition, there is a right and there is a wrong, right?
Right.
There has
Yep.
to be something that is correct.
Yep.
Now, if you go out and kill 100 Drake mallards, line them all up, they're all going to be different, right?
Mhm.
They're all different, but
Mhm.
there has to be a correct thing. So there's like this made up Drake mallard that's the perfect Drake mallard that we hold up on a pedestal that, oh, all hail the perfect Drake mallard. And that's what we carve for in competition.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing, once you leave competition, the beautiful thing about decoy carving is literally nothing is wrong.
Right.
And like you said, depending on your goal and what you want to do with that decoy and how you perceive that, that is what dictates what is wrong and what is right.
Yeah.
Because technically nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
You could carve the ugliest decoy, and I know people, I won't say names, I know people that make horrible, terrible, awful decoys, but they
Yeah.
are so proud of them, and they go out and they kill the piss of ducks over those decoys.
Yeah.
But they're horrible. But it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It doesn't
because
matter
they're
whatsoever.
proud and they
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I would feel better if I had a rig of like in what you're describing, a horrible set of decoys, and I had friends that came in and went, "That's what we're hunting over today," and I'd be like, "Yep," and then them losing all confidence in me to put them on birds, and then walk out with a limit of birds. Like I would be, you have no idea how much I'd be clicking my heels back to home.
It just needs to look remotely close to quasi resembling a duck.
Yeah,
you're not asking that duck to get within 3 feet of that decoy. We go,
right.
Whoa, okay, that ain't right.
You don't have an eyeball. What's going on here?
You just need that duck to get within 20 yards.
Yeah,
that's it. Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
and it's funny because like quasi side note, like I look at some of these guys that pride themselves. Oh yeah, I smash ducks at 50 and 60 yards. Cool story, bro. I shoot mine at 15 and 20 because I know how to fucking work my birds and suck them in. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but right.
When you were talking about that, Damien, about like, bringing guys in and not having confidence, all I could picture is, and you get back to the boat ramp, you got your shitty decoys strung over one shoulder, and then you got your strap full of birds in the other hand. Just stand there all day so people to see you, right?
Shooting a single shot, Tui.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean, Luke. Like you and your dad out on Lake Erie with birds that you said, it's big water birds. These are the birds that work out on the big water. When you're in Coffee Creek and at the club, that's not the decoys that you use. You use some different ones there.
Yeah.
But I actually now I wish I was at the boat launch to see you guys in the morning when you're taking off to see what your rig looked like, because I'm pretty certain I'm pretty certain I probably would have been one of the guys going, "Ooh, man, what are they shooting over?" Because I would. No, but I would. Like, honest to God, if I had seen them, I'd been like, "Jesus, where'd they get those at?" You know what I mean? Like that. Because that's the question. Because we're used to these, factory made decoys that atomic. You know the word I'm trying to say, Craig. What is it? Anatomically correct, and
Can you
the
spell
color scheme. No, I can't.
Language of origin.
Yeah, language of origin. I'm a mix of a lot of different languages that have all come mashed together on the east coast of Canada.
And we call it Newfoundlandese.
and we call it Newfoundlandese. That's right. No, buddy, I think it's a very special art, and a skill. But then I always put decoy carvers, very high. And I put them because of the skill and the vision that they have to see when they see that chunk of material, right? But now, the more that I've talked to you over the last couple episodes, and I've watched videos on decoy carving, and I've learned as much as I have, the little bit that I have. It doesn't have to be a perfect looking decoy to kill birds. Now, if you want to get into the competition, yes, it has to be perfect.
Or even just impressing your friends. I mean, if it's all about you and all about the ducks, it's whatever you want it to be.
Right.
Like killing and competition are two different games.
100%.
Hands down.
It is if you want to do well in them.
Right.
Yeah, it's like both worlds can be mutual, but it kind of doesn't really go both ways. Anybody can enter a contest, but if you're like really stylized, your odds are you're not going to do good in a contest. That doesn't mean you can't enter, right? Odds are you're not going to do good.
Right.
But, so it's like if you want to do, and this is in the, the decoy competition world is such a small niche community, but, as with every little community, it's full of so much controversy and different opinions, this stuff. But to truly do good in competition, you have to focus on that.
Right.
And if that's your goal, then great. There's things that you can do to do that. But what drives people crazy about competition, like I mentioned earlier, there's a right and there's a wrong, which in nature is not true. The biggest thing that gets people, I'll use bluebills as an example. So greater and lesser bluebills are two different species.
Yeah.
In competition or in a birder's guide, what's the difference between a greater and a lesser bluebill?
It's the secondaries, is it not? The speculum, I think.
Yeah,
greater or lesser scop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you can't see the wing, nor people say that the greaters have green heads and lessers have purple heads. And that's kind of what people say, perception. And that's how we deal in competition.
And the graders have a bigger, fatter, wider bill on them.
Correct. Yeah. And like lessers have like a more neat nail on the front. The graders nail, the black in the nail kind of extends back, kind of go with that broadness. But the green versus purple. So like if you enter a greater bluebill, or if you enter a bluebill in a competition and you make a greater bluebill and you paint it with a purple head, you're going to lose. Odds are. If you make a lesser bluebill and you paint it with a green head, you're going to lose. Odds are. But 2 years ago, I was banding. I was on a banding project on the Mississippi River with another carver, Pat Gregory, and we banded a couple hundred lesser bluebills over a couple days. It was in like March, prime breeding plumage, all this stuff. And I don't have the opportunity to get a lot of dead bluebills in my hands. I shoot some, not a lot. But having hundreds of prime bluebills in my hands over a couple days was incredible. And just what I noticed, they're all lessers. And just if you're looking at the bird from the front, depending on how you turn the head, that head goes from green to purple, just depending on how you turn and rotate the head.
Same as a green head mallard.
Technically, you could paint a lesser bluebill with a green head, and that is correct, but it's wrong. So when it comes to contest, that's my tangent.
You're wrong.
It's wrong. But when it comes to contest, you almost have to carve and paint specifically for the contest in a way that is perceived to be correct.
Yeah.
Just in contests and all, you got to think about where the contest is. If you're carving for a contest up here in the Great Lakes somewhere, they're going to like big wide boards that aren't rounded on the bottom with not real tall heads. You go down south where they're, Louisiana, they like rounded bottoms. They like real tall heads because they're in the marsh. They're not. So you really got to think about where the contest is.
Right.
more than likely you're going to get judges from that area, and their perception of
Makes
what
sense.
a decoy is different than what it is somewhere
Yeah.
else. So you gotta study those contests, see what wins in other places, and you gotta conform, or you're not
Wow.
going to consistently do well.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Or
have
you
thought of
can
that.
get-
I would have thought
No,
that it'd
I
be more
wouldn't.
standardized for the contest.
Yeah, me either. I wouldn't have thought about that either, but it makes
Oh,
total
you got
sense.
there's so much to thinking about theory. Decoy contest theory
Yeah,
is another subject.
decoy theory. We can do like a whole 5 podcast episode series on
Certain species
on
do
decoy
better in
theory.
certain areas.
Wow.
We've kept track of all that. We know
Yeah.
what species do better at what contest, what part of the country, what tall heads, low heads.
If it's judged in a tank versus being judged outside in a bay, like you carve your decoys, you can really carve for specific competitions. Is it natural light, fluorescent light, how to paint your decoys,
Halogen light.
yeah, you could really lose
You
yourself.
gotta you gotta know your venue.
Yeah. Well, fellas, we are at that, just over that 1 hour mark. But
Already?
you know what? Yeah, I know. But you know what, Luke? Like, it would be cool. Like I said, I think this episode's going to air on the 22nd of December.
Mhm.
It would be cool to have you come back on, because I would think this would be prime time now for fellas, especially hunters, that are looking to get into carving their decoy, right? The season will be soon slowing down for people, and they'll be
Yep.
looking for something to fill some time, right?
Yep.
And I'm thinking like that middle of January time, that would give you probably that would be about 6 weeks of your kits being on the market, and it'd be a good time for you to come back, talk about what you've learned so far from the kits, what the customers are saying, and then hopefully get you some more attention, so that we're selling.
No, I can tell you right now, I'm gonna be ordering one.
Yeah, I'm ordering one too.
Yep.
So just because
I'd like to see some of what people are creating. It'd be neat to see.
Yeah, and I would too.
What
I'd
you're
like
getting
to,
back.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess the favor I would ask for you is that if anybody is tagging you on social media and you reshare it, tag me so that
Cool.
I can reshare it as well, because I want to, like Craig said, I'd like to see what people are doing, and I think if you get 10 pictures from 10 different clients, I bet you're going to get 10 different looking ducks, and and I think that's what's going to be very, very cool about it. Yeah.
So that's one last little plug. So our cork company is Coffee Creek Cork.
Yep.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and that's a great place where I'm gonna, I've been posting other people's work, making making stuff out of our cork, and keep up with updates like that.
And the Costilow decoys.
Yeah, and Costilow Decoys is our personal page with our decoy stuff, but then Coffee Creek Cork, kind of more about the cork and celebrating.
And I'll tag both of those brands when I post this video, when it goes out, and then when I make the announcement on social media, I'll tag all of that, Coffee Creek and then Costilow decoys. I'll tag all that, just so that you guys know that the episode is done, and then, or that the episode is dropped, and then you can start sharing that around your own social media, right? So let's do a quick around the table, and we'll end her there. Phil, to you, buddy.
Well, great having you, Luke. Great having you on, Luke. Obviously I missed the first episode
And
where
Mark.
you joined. And Mark, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. You guys
My
might pick up a whole new audience. I'm going to tell all my old buddies about you. They might watch their first podcast.
There you go. There you go.
What's a podcast?
Yeah. No.
Check it out.
I've had the pleasure of painting a pile of decoys, and obviously, painting your own decoys scratches one itch, and this obviously is a whole different other. And this is something that's always been in the back of my mind. Been floating around, and it finally needs to get done. And it seems like you make this like beyond easy for someone. Like,
yeah,
here's the decoy. Here's a bit of a template. So you scratch a little bit of the cork off, you slap some paint on, and away you go. And I can tell you right now, guys put entirely too much thought and effort into carving what they think is like the perfect replication of an actual living live duck. And I can tell you right now, if we're hunting God knows how many different kinds of decoys and blocks that I've painted, whatever else, that is not the case. Paint what you want to paint, carve what you want to carve, and enjoy it. And like that's like seems like the model that you guys are pushing, and that's what needs to be done. Don't chase the dream of an actual perfect duck. Make what makes you happy. And this is definitely, you know, the route I want to go. And again, once we get off here at some point, I'm going to order up one of these blocks and hopefully hack something together, and we'll see what happens.
We'll
Yeah.
go to
Awesome.
USPS.
We can be your crash test dummies on sending it into Canada, because we'll let you know what the issues are. So actually, yeah. Anyways, we can talk about it offline. Craig, to you, buddy.
No, I think it's really cool that you guys are doing this, and it gives more people the opportunity to try something different. Like for me, like I know a lot of times when we have guests on like this, I tend to be more quiet just because it's not something I'm familiar with or knowledgeable. So it's really cool to hear from guys like you and to just hear some of that expertise and that knowledge and to learn about something new. So yeah, I think it's really cool that it's given that opportunity to other people to get involved or try something that could honestly be a little intimidating to even think about trying to get started. So really cool to hear about.
I think that's
So
our
you-
goal, trying to get new people involved. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of the decoy world and everybody says get the youth involved. That's the best way to get carvers going. But we really think these kits are going to give people, it's always thought about it. And, you know, it's a little less intimidating. It'll give them a good start.
Yeah.
So we really hope this just expands the tradition. You know, it's
Yeah.
really special to be able to do this.
Yeah, and our motto with the cork company is carve your own tradition. You know, so it's like you
Nice.
just like what
I
Phil
like
just
that.
said. You just do what you do, and then that's
It's
it,
yours.
and that's what it is, and it's yours, and that's your tradition. You know,
That's cool.
We're
I
not
like that.
We're not here gatekeeping what tradition is or anything. It's like you get to make your own tradition with this.
That's amazing. I love that. Carve your own tradition.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I really do like that. Fellas,
Hashtag.
thank you. Hashtag, yeah. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for coming on. And Luke, buddy, again, I cannot thank you enough for reaching out to me and asking to come back on, because it truly do make life easy for me when guests ask to come on, because it takes the work out of it for me, right? So I really do appreciate it. Mark, it was great to meet you, buddy. And I hope that this isn't the last time that we see you on the show.
I'll probably watch one more episode. It'll probably be 3.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. You're a famous YouTuber now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the internet on computers now. That's a Simpsons reference, by the way.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, buddy. It was a pleasure to meet you. I love what you're doing. And I just want to add this last little bit to it. You know, carve your own tradition, like you said, take the intimidation away from it. But, you know, the other thing is the cost. And here is, you can buy a kit to do one. And that now you can decide. You don't have to make this huge, giant investment to get into decoy carving. Try to one. And if you enjoy it, well, now you know. But you don't have to make that big initial investment and tools and all the gear and everything. Just buy the kit from Costilow Decoys, Coffee Creek, Cork. And I promise you, I'm fairly confident to say I promise that you'll enjoy it.
Kind of like Lay's potato chips. I bet you can't carve just one, huh?
Good. Hey, man, you're on fire, Mark. You're on fire. You're on
I've
fire.
been around.
Yeah, I've been around. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 251 of the Union 0430 podcast. We aren't experts. We'll never pretend to be. But I tell you, we do surround ourselves with some. Big love. Thanks for watching. See you next time.